You know, we are here. We are here, guys. As you walk in, please make sure you hit that like button. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button if you have not done so already, and please make sure you hit that notification bell on the right hand side. Remember, we do go live each and every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 o'clock Eastern time. Yes, Jesse, hit me out. We are streaming today. We are streaming today. We was just waiting on this lovely lady, as you can see on this panel. But before we go into that, thank you for tuning in to KI Culture Radio. Prince, Akeem, Jordan, what's popping like and what's cracking like?
Striving for perfection.
Hey man, it's good to be here. Good to be here on this Wednesday evening. Let's go, let's go, let's get it.
Yeah, and not only that, but we have a special guest today for this topic here. We have Keisha M. She come from a space. She come
Yep.
from a space where we talk about crazy, reckless things. But today we gonna keep it civil, keep it nice, keep it sexy, all the things and above. And not only that, but Keisha, before we get started, tell us about yourself and always welcome to the Chaos Culture Radio family. Go right ahead.
Thank you. So my name's Keisha. I live in California. I work in the tech side of things, but yeah, I've been in like the YouTube space, mainly a certain space of YouTube that may be a bit toxic. So I'm really excited to be a part of a very civilized panel.
we appreciate that.
And now that, but go ahead. After that being said, go ahead, Jordan, do your thing. Look.
What's going on, people? What's going on? Good to see you guys. Okay.
Sorry, you froze there. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
All right. What's going on, people? What's going on? Glad to see you guys coming in the chat. We know we're late. We're still going to do what we got to do. What's going on, Sherry Brian? Good to see you on the chat. Good to see you. Good to see you. Okay, we're going to get straight to the topic. So this is the topic that I would like to. It's gonna be fun to talk about. It's really gonna be fun to talk about, and we're gonna talk about large gap dating, meaning not like dating between 5 to 10 years. We're gonna talk about people that's dating between 10 years to 20 years, meaning a man's dating, he might be in his 50s and he's dating somebody in his 25, and vice versa. A woman's dating at 25 and 25 dating somebody 50 years old. Same thing for women. Women that's dating younger, and also men that dates older women. Some people got a problem with it, some people don't like it. I know in our community, in our Black community, there's sometimes a problem of what I've seen that when a man is dating somebody that's, I would say, maybe 10 plus years younger than him. It's like why you dating somebody young and all that type of stuff. It's like, that it looks weird, And then on the other side, with the opposite side, when a woman dates a younger guy, it doesn't, it's like the opposite. It's like, oh yeah, go ahead, girl, do what you need to do and everything. So we're gonna have some fun with it today. We're definitely gonna listen to everybody's opinions, and definitely gonna hear you guys in the chat as well. We got a couple of videos we're gonna play for you guys. After that, we're gonna chop it up. Go ahead, Akeem.
Perfect.
Why is it that other people have such big opinions about big age gaps?
There's something creepy about, like, let's say we have like a 20-year-old girl dating a 35 to 40-year-old man. Mm-hmm. What the do you have in common at that point, other than you're finding their age attractive?
But it also depends on where the age is, right? Because if it's 20 and 40, it might be a little different than if it was 30 and 50. Even though it's 20 years apart, a 20-year-old, you're like, you were just a teenager, versus a 30-year-old, you're like,
some life experience.
You have some life experiences, and,
Okay, to the guys in the room, what is the youngest that you're dating?
If I'm 30, like, she can't be no more than like 20.
So 10 years. So 10 years is your...
Yeah. There's girls who date older men, like,
no, yeah, I do.
50 years old.
In Miami, there is a lot of Cubans that like the little old men.
There was some clips that we showed you guys, but I know, guys, you live in, like I said, you've seen in Miami, Keisha, I know you've seen in LA. If you go in certain areas, you might see, you go to like West Hollywood or, Beverly Hills. You might see sometimes you walking down maybe Rodeo or something like that. You might see a big age gap of a man. He might be in his 60s or 55. I've seen it before. That's dating somebody in their, mid 20s to the lower 30s. Same thing in Miami as well. So Definitely gonna have fun with it. Good to see you, Natasha. She's in the building. Good to see you. She's been a minute, but good to see you. Good to see her. Good to see her. Okay, so I'm gonna pass it to you guys. I'm gonna start with Ronnie. I'm gonna start with you. What you think about big age gap dating?
Age gap dating been around for centuries. I think even before the modern day of time. Men always love to date younger women. Uh, I'm gonna just keep it clean. I'm not gonna go too far into the age gap when it comes to young women, but most men prefer, especially if a man's 40, he do prefer a woman to be in her early 20s or close to the age of 25, because they say most of the time when women are at that age, it's easier for them to give birth, and not only that, it's easier for those type of men to coach and quote unquote mentor the woman to the type of woman they want that man to be for them. Now, when it comes to the aspect of a woman, I rarely see women date younger men because we live in Miami. Hakeem Jordan used to live in Miami, so I rarely see that. I promise you, I rarely see that. Majority of the time, I see older men date younger women. Now, does happen? Yes, I remember one time I dated an older woman when I was 30, and the woman was like close to her 40s. So that was a strong age gap. But not only that, but it depends on I think the maturity of the man if he decided they are older women. But this is my whole idea process when it comes to that. I think most of the time when a man date older women is because the aspect of the sex. I'm just being honest. They want to have something that's old, like, oh, I experienced this, but I'm gonna go back to my age range. But I rarely see that all around, all of pretty much where I see it from the area I'm in. I don't know. It's gonna be different when we hear Keisha's take on it because she's actually a woman. So I just want to know, like, yeah, all the women in the chat know Keisha. Yeah, that's Keisha. That's her. That's her.
Hey,
Yeah,
y'all.
that's her. Everybody just Jay, the Tasha Vincent, all the girls know who that is. Yeah, that's her. Yeah. So, Hakeem, what's your thoughts on that?
No, no, no. I'm gonna let the queen go first. Go ahead,
Yeah,
queen.
we would love to hear Keisha's take. Go
No, go
ahead,
ahead.
Keisha.
Okay, so with age gap dating, I agree with Ron. It's been around a long time, and I think if a lot of people just research their lineage and their history, you'll find a lot of people in your family took on women and dated women when they were like, children, basically. So that's the thing. I don't know. I guess because I'm around women and we have honest conversations, and I kind of put it on the woman. I'm just like, why do you put yourself in a relationship where you do have that large age gap? Like, I don't necessarily feel like it's the man's fault. I think a lot of women are opportunists and they want to be taken care of, and they enter those relationships because they want to be taken care of and they're getting something from it. So I mean, but then when you start getting into like the younger ages and, maybe they can't decipher those decisions on their own, then it gets kind of sticky. But then I kind of lean on the parents. You should be actually providing for your kids and actually educating them on people who may want to exploit them or take advantage of them. So that's kind of my take on it.
Okay. How can I go before you?
Go right ahead, brother.
Okay, they were age gap gang. I think the first time we ever saw this, I don't know, we got saw it in high school when I remember I was a freshman and I've seen like um, girls that's like in their sophomore, well, I'll say freshman, sophomore, junior, and also seniors. They all used to date somebody a little bit older, meaning somebody from college or somebody, outside of school that's probably in there between 19, 20, 20, 21, 22. When I first thought about it, I was like, yo, why does, that was weird because, when I first went to high school, there was something new or something that I really didn't get until, once I got in high school. And because I guess, what's the word? Women like hypergamy in the way. It's like, because it's like women, they like, when they see freshmen, when I was a freshman, when women see me as a freshman, it's like, I don't know. But when they see a guy that's a little bit older, probably a senior that's going to college, or somebody that's in college, I always kind of felt some type of way. It's like, what does this older man got what does this older man has that I don't? And and I kind of realized it. Then, I started to realize it. And then once I got, went to college and everything, I really could see, okay, I went to Johnson and Wells and I really saw some women, in their freshman, they used to date somebody in their senior and also somebody that was like in their, 25, 30, and 35. And once I learned, it's like, okay, process. It's like, okay, now I see, there's some type of hypergamy or white women date up, they kind of want to be taken care of, they kind of want to, they kind of want to see it like a man who's like, who can protect and provide and who's and very, very secure in themselves in a way. So, and when I saw that, I was like, okay, I really don't have a problem with it. You don't have a problem with it, and then on the opposite side, but when a woman's dating a younger man, I ain't gonna lie. I don't know if you Joaquin or me, Ronnie, when I was, young and everything, I thought about, getting me with an older chick for some reason, because I feel like at my age, I felt like women was a little bit more mature, and I felt I could, hit a woman's maturity level that was one that was older than me, because I feel like sometimes when I talk to, some chicks, in high school and everything, I just felt like sometimes it was kind of childish in any way. I was like, I don't like that. Don't like that. But yeah, at that time, it's like, okay, I like dated older chicks. But for now, in 2023, you know, I see that a lot more here living in LA, and also seeing it in Miami. And me, I don't have no problem with it. But some for reason, I think our community has a problem with it some way, especially when a man dating a younger woman. And for that, I don't know why. Maybe Hakeem explain a little bit more to that. I'm gonna pass it to you, Hakeem.
Thank you, my brother. Yeah, everybody spoke so eloquently, and your perspectives weren't. So I'm gonna come at this from a cultural and a religious point. I've been many places. I lived a lot of places, and for a lot of people who don't remember, I used to be Sunni Muslim. Now, age gap dating only benefits the women. Only benefits women, not only benefits the women. That it only benefits the women when you're younger, and it goes against you when you're older. I want you to hear me on this one. And it benefits the man when he's older, not when you're younger. Most men are here to take care of women. So it doesn't make sense for a woman who is older to date a younger man whose finances and who's not mentally there to take care of a family. Hear me out when I tell you this. Black Americans are the only people that I've been able to come across that have an issue with age gap dating. I'm of Haitian descent. My family's Cuban. I have some family members who are Dominican Republic, who's from DR. It sometimes is required that the women in the family say, get you somebody 10 to 20 years older, your life will be comfortable. For men who want kids, they've also told them, wait till you get your money together, get you a younger to give you children. Most women who get older don't want to have kids. Most men who try to build their finances and up in this. I have two people personally who I counsel, and I try to give them the reality of the point of dating younger men. It never works. They only get with you for sexual escapades. Moroccans, Italians, Russians preferably only date women 10 to 20 years younger than them. Most of the Ukrainian models who are 20 to 19 are with 40 to 50-year-old Russian oligarchs. If you don't know, go look it up. Here in America, we look down on that, but you who is 42 dating a young man that's 21, you can't expect him to be a 40-year-old man when he did his finances and he's mentally not there. A lot of women who are single mothers, I say, get you somebody 50. I know you want to date somebody your age. A man who's 40 might want 4 to 5 more kids. He's going to go date somebody younger. So there's different nuances to that. You know what I'm trying to say? A close personal friend of mine who is Moroccan from Massachusetts, his wife at the time was 25. He was 45. His wife personally said she wasn't dating nobody her age. Her family said that, it was a whole thing. A dowry had to be produced. Somebody 25 wasn't going to be able to do that. So that's the perspective I come from. Here in America, people of African descent, and a lot of people who are from the diaspora who are now accepting Black American culture, look down on age gap dating as well.
I only disagree with that when it comes to the aspect of the black community, because this is why. Because prime example, Leonardo DiCaprio, I know he's a celebrity, but Leonardo DiCaprio only date younger women, and it's okay. He don't get ridiculed. He don't get Charlie Sheen don't get ridiculed. All these men don't get ridiculed because of the aspect of they are quote unquote Caucasian men. Now, when a black man does it, it's a big thing. It's a big issue. Everybody doing videos about it. Everybody doing reaction about it. Oh, so you want to deal? Why can't you not date women your own age? So women, don't get me wrong. Black women, they do it, no issue. But when it comes to the aspect of the black man, it seems like it's always an issue. You need to date women your own age. No, I don't want to date women my own age. I want a younger woman because I want for her to have kids. Typically, when a woman's older, it's hard for them to have kids based on the science. I'm saying based on the science, even though sometimes I disagree with that, because there's some women that right now, at the age of 60, having kids. There was a recent video that went viral of a woman, she's 6 years old, her husband's 70, and they just recently just have a child, a 1-year-old. So it happens, but how often do that happen? So that's what I'm saying when it comes to the aspect of the black community. I can't really speak for other communities because I really don't know, but I know other cultures, they don't even mind their man that they even younger, if you catch my drift. But go ahead, Keisha.
So I want to start off by addressing what Jordan said. And he said, like in high school, he saw women dating older men or men who were in college. I just remember me and my friends in high school, like we saw those same girls too, but every girl wasn't engaging in that. A lot of us were trying to date men that were in our grade. But those men were, most of the time interested in women that were out of their league too. Like people weren't really focused on people in their leagues, but I do know what you're talking about. There were a lot of women, a lot of women who were dating men who were older than them, not even in high school with them. But some of us weren't on that type of time. Um, I don't really know the ratios to that though. But as far as what Hakeem said, I think that the culture in America is a bit different, especially with how we date. Um, I do believe a lot of people, we're just encouraged to enter in relationships and gain experiences. But if you're looking to date and not just gain an experience, but having a child, I can kind of see that perspective. But I would like to dive into that further as to why it's encouraged that you find a man that's like 20 years older than you. Like, as far as like attraction isn't supposed to be a thing in those relationships. Like, I'm just curious, and how can we apply that to the American culture?
Okay, that's good you say that. So I'm of Caribbean descent, and let's look at the majority of demographics that are here that we're close to. I grew up in a Haitian household and also an Hispanic household. Poverty plays a big issue from a lot sometimes, and most of the time in these countries, the ideology that's there is, okay, an older man who's in that country is a little bit more established. If he's your age, he's struggling. So somebody's taking care of him. Somebody's taking care of him. So to make sure your daughter's okay, they bring that same ideology here. And there's also into an apply. But here's the thing about this is too. White Americans believe the same thing too. It's just not talked about. Now, there's different nuances of that depending on where you fall in the culture of white America. If you're Italian, if you're Irish, I'm not talking about just regular white Americans. You know, everybody do what they want. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so immigrants.
Huh?
So you mean like mainly immigrants, right?
Mainly immigrant here in Black America, and I have to preface and say that Black Americans, because the way Black Americans go about dating is totally similar to white Americans that are not of a certain culture. Y'all go to college, you might meet your husband in college and do this, and sometimes it's a flip. You know what I mean? You meet somebody outside of work, you might already have kids, you're a single mom, you meet some later. But when we talking about age gap dating, where it starts to become of an now, mind you, 1950, 1940, 1960, and 1970, it was just certain things that were just kind of accepted, especially in the South. I'm not saying more in cities where this man could have been 45 and you're a 20-year-old, and the mama would say, "Girl, I know you're gonna be all right if you're with him, and he's gonna make sure you're gonna eat." Or let's say, for instance, if this was a girl who had a baby and it was young, and I've seen this happen before. I've seen this happen before, as a kid, where it was like, such and such is gonna go move over to Mr. Johnson house. Mr. Johnson here, the parents is not able to afford, so they go ahead and do this. But mainly Caribbeans or people of African descent from Africa, Ghana, and all these places, these practices are still practiced. To try to incorporate here, in a sense, there has to be somewhat of an of trying to package it to Black women in a dating pool, to the point. If you're 25, you already got 2 kids and you're single. Another 25-year-old might not want to do that if he has no kids. That doesn't mean you should be excluded. We need to look at dating a little bit different now. Somebody who's 45, who probably had kids, established in his job, will be more want to be with you. But here's the thing now. Where he at in his life, he's not where you at in your life mentally. So he might not want to do the same things he used. He's more ready to settle down. So that's how, if we would try to introduce that to our sisters, as far as whatever aspect of dating is. Some women are very mature at a younger age. Some women naturally want to date older men. I know most people say, there was a comment say, how can I have a conversation with a 20-year-old? There's 20-year-old Hispanic women who, in just like the lady here, I'm in Miami. I live in Miami. Majority young Cuban girls are with old Cuban men. That's a fact. Still to this day. It's not frowned upon. The mother recommends it. Some of these guys are wealthy. These girls want to live a certain kind of way. Sometimes they want their kids to go to a certain school, and this is how it's accepted.
You have a point about that, Hakeem, because I could say this, growing up in Pontiac, Michigan, small, hood city, majority Black, majority, like I say, 80%, Black people live there, maybe 10% Asians, 10%, maybe, a little bit of Hispanic and everything. And I could say this, growing up, and I, growing up in a single parent, me and my little brother, I don't think like this being in an environment and just looking around, you never thought about, living in Pontiac, about age gap dating somebody that's maybe older, date somebody that's younger. You just, I just heard my mom tell me, say, hey, son, if you find somebody good, that'd be good for you. Because at the time, in Pontiac, Michigan, at the time, I said this earlier, I saw this in the podcast before, live streams and pre-recordings. Like, when I was living there wasn't like good qualities of women to choose from. Same thing with my brother. So for me, it's like, okay, if I can't find a good quality woman in Pontiac, maybe I need to get out of Michigan and see if I can find something else. Once I start getting out of my comfort zone, getting out of Pontiac, Michigan, and go get out into the world, live in Miami, and see, other cultures, how they date and everything, Cubans, Puerto Ricans, Haitians, Jamaicans, all around melting pot. That definitely really changed my view. It's like, hey, especially with age gap dating, which I see, if I go down South Beach, I see a woman with a 60-year-old or 55-year-old. It's like, wow, that's different. Why in the hell did this young chick, is with an older chick? Back when I lived in, I never seen, like, you will rarely see something like that. Probably you will never see something like that. And then also you like, and also when men are, I'm sorry. What I usually see in Pontiac is we date between somebody between 2 to 3 years older or 2 to 3 years younger, because we all know each other. Reason I'm saying it is because we've been to school, we've been to elementary school, we've been to middle school, we've been to high school, and with Pontiac, it's such a small city. It's like once you get out of high school, either you're with that person, or they go to college. They might go to the same college in Michigan or somewhere around the county. They might go to the same college and might date, go out and date somebody that's between 2 to 3 years younger. Now, like I said, going out in the world and see, there is a thing called, age gap dating. It always puzzles my mind, but I can see what other cultures doing. It kind of makes sense because it was taught to them about age gap dating, especially for men and women and everything. And at first I had a problem with it, but it's like, you know what, I get it because when a woman dates somebody who's older, she's looking for something that's already kind of established and comfort. She might be ready to have kids and boom, bam, to get married and everything. Compared to, in the black community where I used to live, it's like, when if you talked about if you see something like a celebrity, dating somebody like a man like Leonardo DiCaprio, if he's dating someone that's younger, there might be some talks about it as well. Or if a black celebrity, he's a black male celebrity, he's dating somebody that's like a younger woman. It was always a problem, always a problem. And I really didn't get that at the time. But it's like, now being in an open world, it's like, okay, now I see what it makes sense. And also, there was a content creator who really, got into that, and it really opened my mind. Like, oh, okay, I see now. I see, and that's how I see how other, um, races of people, it's kind of in that culture, and they tell you about it instead of in a black community, it's not really talked about like that.
Yeah, Keisha.
And I'll
Go ahead. I'll go.
So quick question. I know you said that you didn't have a lot of good quality women in the area that you grew up. So like, what's your definition of just like quality women? Because you said you found those women in Miami,
Mm-hmm.
and you kind of used the example of like 20-year-olds with like 60-year-old Cubans.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what is your definition of a good woman, and like compared to the women you saw in your hometown versus Miami? Because I thought it would be the opposite.
Mm-hmm. I reason I said it because I found my wife in Miami. I found my wife in Miami in college. That's why. And then in the quality of women, it's like my mama knew, like, if I was gonna mess some like a chick, I want to look at somebody that's like my mom, nice, feminine, my mom's very nice, very feminine. Same as my grandmother. She's nice to people. She's good to people. Doesn't have a bad attitude. Because I tell you, where I used to live at, there was a lot of women that their attitude was all janky, really janky, very very janky. In my family, all the women I was around, they didn't have like bad attitudes like that. So when I see women kind of have bad attitudes or who used to be childish, it easily turn me off. And then once I met my wife, the girlfriend, she's my wife now, I just see a resemblance of how my mom is and how my grandmother is. So like I said, once I got out of college, I see there was a more abundance of women of where I used to live in Pontiac, because in Pontiac, it's only, I would say, maybe 25,000 people compared to Miami. It's like, over maybe 2 to 3 million people live here. Or in LA, it's more than that. So it's more of abundance. And I can see all that. And that kind of, it's like, okay, if I can't find somebody in Pontiac, maybe I need to go to a bigger city where there's a more abundance of women. I can see more. And then once I found, I found out about my wife, who shares, characters like my mother and my grandmother. I was like, okay, this is what I'm looking for.
Okay. So that wasn't like an age gap thing. It was more of like the women had attitudes and just the way they carried themselves. Okay.
I'm gonna let Brody go, but I was gonna say,
but I would say, yeah, but like I say, but when I learned in Miami, I still learned about age gap dating as well. Even though my wife is like less than it's a year younger than me, which is it's cool. But like I said, this learning about age gap dating was from compared to Pontiac and living in Miami. Go ahead, Akeem.
No, go, Ronnie, go, because I'm gonna expound on your question, Keisha, because I know where you're trying to get at with. Go ahead, Ronnie.
I was gonna say majority of the time, just because we live in Miami, there's an abundance of women. Sometimes that's not always good, because this is the reason why nobody take dating and marriage seriously, because there's too many women out here. What's the point of me actually settling down with a woman in Miami when I see a woman here? Yeah, she looks good, but then down the street I see a woman that look better. That's the issue we have. That's why when you hear people,
that's true too.
Well, a lot of people say if you coming to Miami, you're not really coming to Miami to get married. You coming to Miami just to have a good time, and that's it. Because it's too much women here. Now, like Jordan from Pontiac, I'm being honest. He if I was living in Pontiac, I think I would more likely find a wife there than actually in Miami. I'm just giving it 100.
Ronnie, no, you won't. I'm just letting you know, no, you won't.
No, I'm just saying
I'll tell you personally.
No, but I'm just saying because the gap is smaller than what
I
it
got
is
you.
in a bigger in a bigger environment. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying that as an example.
I got you. I got you. I got you. I got what you're saying
You know,
though.
so
If you live in a smaller city, I get you. I'm saying Pontiac. I don't know about Pontiac though. But go
yeah,
ahead.
and motivating business say so it's all about looks. Yes, in Miami it is all about looks. It's the looks image. Motivating. You've been in Miami before, or you probably traveled to Miami before, and you know it's all about image. Like, is this an image thing? They're not coming here to and money. Hakeem did materialistic. They're not coming here to be like, oh, man, you tall, you dark and handsome, man. You make a good fit as a husband. No, they're gonna say, how big is your pockets? And and that's the issue we have in the culturally. And Gore, you trying to figure out who that is? DM me later, and I'll tell you in the back end. I can't.
Man, forget Gore. He's been yeah, I've been in the chat. I know who Gore is. Hey Just Jay. Hey Natasha.
Gore, remember
Gore, yes.
so you went off the panel. You already got my cat. No, I'm just joking. Yeah. So Hakeem going to expound on that. Go ahead, Hakeem.
Keisha, so I'm gonna expound on them with and to see what they're trying to say. When you hear a man say that, because you want to get the understanding of what he mean by a quality woman, and that's basically what you're trying to get from that. Here's the thing: as depending on the type of man you are, there's going to be a certain type of woman you're looking for. As we get older, men are looking for conservative women. Expound on me. Depending on the type of man, like the way you look, you are the archetype of a man who's looking for a wife. You look like how a wife's supposed to look. You don't got the hair color of a Walmart cake. You don't got tattoos on your neck. You know what I mean? The way Natasha looks, the way Jess J look, the way Sherry Bryant look. These are the archetypes. Now, mind you, in Miami, what he's expounding on, or in Pontiac, or in Birmingham, or in Montgomery, there's a look of a type of woman that attracts a certain type of man. We're not street niggas. I ain't scamming. I used to be one, but I'm not like that anymore. At that time, I wanted a ghetto diamond who worked at Checkers. 26 inches, long nails, we getting it. I'm busting down the check. I'm conservative now. I want somebody I can bring to my mama. I want somebody who's this. So when we say it's hard for us to find a woman, when we get older, we outgrown certain ways. So when we say a quality woman, a woman that we can be proud about, a woman who has discernment, a woman who's meek, a woman who understands, their position, doesn't have to do with education, doesn't have to do with looks. You know what I mean? Sometimes it doesn't even matter if you had kids. And this is another misconception too, that women might think that there's a lot of men who will be with you if the type of person you are. Now, I want to straight something. I've never dated nobody younger than me, because at a younger age, it was already frowned. I grew up around Black Americans my whole life, even though in my culture, it is okay. I have cousins who's been married with people 20, 30 years, and they're twice their age, have a good life. The women, he's put their wife through schools. They've gotten degrees. She does not even thinking about, but that's a cultural thing. I'll give you a story. And there's somebody who's on Instagram who can verify this. I was working somewhere and I'm working IT support. We worked at this call center. Now, mind you, there was this young girl who was just hanging around me. They was eating lunch with me every day. We was talking. I was just giving her advice on some stuff, but I've never took it past that level. But she tried to say, "Oh, let's hang." There was another person who was around my age, was giving me extreme hate. You trying to manipulate her while she's sitting by you all the time? You know you twice her age. Mind you, I wasn't even trying to do nothing. You know what I mean? This was a person in college. Oh, we should hang out. And I was like, nah, that's not going to look good. That's not going to look good. So you have men Black American men who stray away from dating younger women because they don't want to deal with the shame. Now, they don't want to deal with the shame of the idea of that, oh, you muscling something.
Hakeem, I was gonna counter attack your argument on the aspect
Come on.
when it comes to the man wanting conservative women. I disagree with that. Men are attracted to the ratchet.
Not
Even Keisha him. We are attracted to the Shikianas, the Carly B's. I know you, Hakeem. Come on now. You better, even a
Go
hundred.
ahead, Roddy.
No,
Go
listen,
ahead.
listen. Give me the bleach. Listen, give me the bleach stained dress.
The ratchet women are getting married on a higher scale than ever before.
Go ahead, brother.
I know you're gonna find me. That was I got to give you a little bit of pushback because we even Jabari said we. I am saying we because at the end of the day, if a woman like Keisha come by and walk by, then a woman like Shikiana, who gonna get the first look? Let's keep it 100.
Depending on who is the man. Go ahead, brother.
I was going to okay. Let's change the conservative. What if you change conservative to trying to find a woman that can build a family with?
They still not paying attention to those women. They want the Shikianas.
The ski man's coming on today.
They want
the ski man's coming on today.
Because the thing is, because the Shikiana, they looking in the aspect when it comes to sex. They're not looking to build. It's just like I'm gonna have a great time with her. But I know if I get a Keisha M, she's gonna hold me accountable. She's gonna be like, I gotta make sure my life is in order. I gotta make sure I have a house, a picket fence, make sure all the bills are paid. They don't want to deal with all that. We just want to.
That's a thin line. Those are not men, Ronnie. Those are boys just looking for sex with Sukiyanas and Cardi B's.
But we can't even say that because at the same time, we can't say, it's just black men doing it. No, white men are doing it too. Hispanic men is doing it too. Nah, come on now. All right, go ahead. Push back. Go ahead.
In my 40-something years in life, I don't know none of the ratchets who are married.
I know a lot.
I don't know none. Listen, I don't know none of them. Listen, conservative. Listen, I don't know none. Listen, conservative men with money and power are not marrying ratchets. They're marrying plain James.
Hakeem, were you done? Hakeem, I definitely want to hear Keisha's take on it as well.
No, go, listen. Bernice Broger not married. It's a lot of these people who you saying they're not even touched. They're just there. They're fun girls. They're there for fun. When the street nigga retired, he go get him somebody out the church. Somebody out the church who wear them long dresses with polka dots on them. He say, I'm ready to be the deacon now. I'm ready to be Mr. Johnson. But I don't know none of that. Everybody who I've came across, it ain't going down like that. That is a facade. And if they do get married, I'm not saying they're not. The relationship doesn't last.
Okay, prime example. I'm gonna use this. Kanye West and Kim. Kim is known for being a ratchet. She got married, a kid, and a man that's a billionaire. Well, they got divorced, but that man that's a billionaire. And mind you, Kanye West's wife right now, they consider her to be a ratchet because they were doing something kinky over there on the boat. You get what I'm saying? Like they getting wiped up. I know. I promise you. I want a conservative woman too. You already know. Me and you, we talk, Jordan. Yeah. I want a conservative woman. I'm not saying that, but man, deep down inside, we are attracted to the ratchet. I'm just sorry. Carly B, look, the women in the chat, they're giving you names.
No, listen. But look at the men who are married. We're not talking about the doctors, the lawyers, the podiatrists, the dentists. These are not the guys marrying these women. Let's get down in real life. Let's think about this. We see what we see in the internet. Listen, K. Michelle had to have a wake-up call. BBWs, all that, still couldn't get nothing. As soon as she strayed back, she went and married a dentist. As soon as she took off the implants, she went and got real. Out of all those ball players, all those people, nobody ain't marry her. Think about that. Nobody didn't want her, and it's a lot of them like that. So I'm talking about the it girl that you know who was dealing with the dope boy. She probably had a baby or two by him. He ain't marry her. I bet you 9 out of 10 times he went and married a police officer or a lawyer. What you have fun with is not what you want to spend your life with. Yes, K. Michelle is married.
Hey, I was gonna say, Hakeem. So, what do we do about these, these fathers or even mothers to tell them like, yo, kind of separate yourself of dating somebody that's, conservative, that's building a family, and then have sex with the, the ratchet ones, because that's not talked about either.
I love that you say that.
Thank you. Look at DB said it perfectly. I know a lot of ratchet women in church every Sunday.
They are there. That's why.
Regardless why
But men don't go to churches. That's why men don't go to churches no more.
No,
Listen,
the man don't go to church because the pastor is not is not pretty much putting a message towards the men. It's mostly catered to the women. That's why men ain't going to church. But get everybody tell me all the time, they're like, Ron, you want to meet a good woman? Go to church.
That's not there no more. Not no more.
Go ahead, again.
we all know that we all know what a quality woman is, and you could tell a quality woman by how she goes about her life,
Yes.
who her friends are,
Mm-hmm.
what she indulge in, you know what I mean, what she feeds her mind. Now, the thing I want to answer Jordan's question is this. Our goal here is I want our women to get married and our men. The packaging has to be that. The way, if you want a certain type of man, you can't expect a street nigga to be a provider or a scammer to be a provider. But if you want to get you a man who's a director of security, who's a radiologist, who might be a EMT, or just regular men, or it could be my guy who's the manager at Jeffy Lube. Your packaging has to be a little bit that you presenting yourself as a woman who said, okay, you want to know something? Lennox, I'm ready to be a wife. How you dress, how you come about, and this, and I'm just saying, if that there's a certain type of man that you want. Most men are not going to accept a lot of things. Most men will. There's a lot of guys who don't mind the toxic lifestyle. You know what I'm trying to say? And I'm not looking at those women in any kind of way, but in not to deviate from this. This is why if you see a younger woman dating an older man sometime, that means she seeked them out. Some women want to be with a man who can teach. Some women want to be with men who can teach them some things, to show him a different life. And a lot of older men can do that for you. Some of these guys are so set in their ways and so set in, they're so different. And here's another misconception too. A lot of people think that, oh, if I get with somebody who's 45, he might not be fun. Natasha Vincent talked about leadership. If a man has his own house and he's paying bills and he has a career, he has to have some type of stability about him, and his mindset has to be there, unless he's indulging things in the background. Go ahead,
But
Queen.
again, before I go, because I know Keisha, I want Keisha to go in, because I know we said a lot of good things, but I want to say this one final point. If what you're saying is true, that man is not married to ratchet, that means someone like Keisha supposed to be married, Natasha Vincent supposed to be married. You got a lot of women in the chat that are beautiful, supposed to be married, they are not. Because the man in their way, because they don't fit the criteria of being a ratchet.
I can answer that question for you. And Keisha, go ahead. I know why Keisha and Natasha and a lot of these girls are not married.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I need to go ahead. So I think I agree with Ron. I agree with Ron. I do believe men are attracted. I think the porn or I should say corn affected men in a very negative way. And I do believe a lot of men, their priority in relationships is making sure that they're entertained sexually. And I think that results in the women they pick. I mean, as far as Kim Kardashian, she wasn't even fresh out her divorce before Kanye was trying to get in a relationship with her. And as like a woman, just sitting back and seeing that, like, I don't know, I kind of lose respect for men when I see them operate like that. And so it affects like how I see men too. And it affects how a lot of conservative women see men too. So it's no longer like, oh, I'm ready to get married. It's like, now the selection isn't as great as I thought, because now I'm watching how you move and I'm not even attracted to it anymore. So now I'm going to start looking at other places too. But I mean, go ahead. Why are we not married?
It's real simple. It's real simple. It's a multi-layer situation with you beautiful young ladies. Some of y'all could be jaded. You know what I mean? That's one thing. Some of y'all could be jaded. The requirements is so simple, but it's still high, that if you do get a good prospect, there's still some things missing that you're looking for. Because the way a conservative woman feels like, you willing to give all yourself for nothing. So you're going to be strict about dealing that. And listen here, I know there probably some great prospects that came to y'all, but you was like, this is not good. He's not consistent. He didn't tell me about this. It could be simple. Listen, it could be the simple thing. Oh, you didn't mention that to me. You laughing because you know I'm telling the truth. Why didn't John, why didn't you tell me that you was this is simple? Because the fact of the matter is that your energy, your peace is so important to y'all that you willing to give people the benefit of the doubt, but that also comes with some restrictions. You know what I'm trying to say? That's the only reason. Y'all could have been married a long time ago with people who had great jobs, but money's not always thing. Natasha says leadership. Some things it could be something real simple. At least being able to sit with him on the couch to sit and have a good conversation and eat and drink coffee in the morning. You probably met men you couldn't even do that with. And your homegirls will say, Riz, he make money. You be like, this nigga's boring as hell. I can't even have a full. So that's the main reason. Yes, the prospect is a little bit more harder. It's like taking an AP calculus class. This shit's hard right now. You got to sim through the project, sim through the homework to actually find what you want. And then you might meet somebody that you can say, okay, I can work with this, but I can't work with that. And most of the time, a lot of you women are meeting men that there's some things you are not able to work with.
I don't agree.
Woo! The ski mask got to get back on. The ski mask coming back on.
No, I don't agree, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because, well, I'll say this. I think just sitting back and watching how men move and seeing them gravitate towards women who are attention seeking, who are 304s, I genuinely lose attraction. Like it genuinely happens. And I'm not going to get in a relationship with someone that I'm not attracted to. And also, number two is a lot of us have fathers. And so I'm not really looking to have another dad. I mean, if we're going to be in a relationship, it's going to be a partnership. We're going to work together. I'm not really looking for a man who's 10 years older than me or anything like that. That's not really the American culture. But I do understand, especially cultures in countries that are written in poverty, that is the goal, which I think is very similar to how we view gold diggers. We view them as people who are opportunists. You want a man who provides, who can provide for you, who can provide for your kids. So you have to put in as little effort as possible in that area. But as far as the American culture, some of us, we don't, I mean, like poverty is a thing, but at the same time, he can work, I can work, we can make it happen together. So there is that aspect too. A lot of us don't have the mindset of women, especially immigrants, because we don't come from that side of poverty. So, yeah.
I just want to find out, see Hakeem, prime example. You saw how her standards is?
Yeah, definitely.
Her standards are? That's why man date the ratchet, because majority of the time, the man gonna tell the ratchet chick what to do. A woman like her is gonna tell the man what is she looking for. These are my criteria. If a man don't fit that criteria, you say, man, I'm out.
Listen, you're right.
She wrote it down beautifully, and that's why I told you that's why ratchet women are getting higher on a higher scale, or getting married on a higher scale. Go ahead.
If a nigga like a ratchet woman, then you a ratchet dude. Don't matter where you coming from. But I want to ask you something, Michelle. What about the Pokemon niggas? Have you dated them?
I'm sorry, repeat that. You broke up there a little bit.
I said, what about the Pokemon niggas? The anime niggas. Have you dated them yet?
Yes.
So you telling me
I still don't like anime. I'm not into that, but yes, I have.
You have this. So you telling me the anime niggas is looking at ratchets?
I'm saying that yes, yes, absolutely.
So you say every you say every anime nigga you met wanted a ratchet.
Well, look at this, Hakeem. Ever since social media came, and it's been a lot more ratchet, a lot more ratchet.
Thank you, Jordan.
Hakeem, looking at the MTV Awards, that was the most ratchet. I ain't see the show, but I saw the highlights. I'm like, yo, this is a whole hella ratchet. Same thing with the BET Awards, it's hella ratchet. So She's not lying what she's saying, Hakeem.
No, no,
I'm seeing it too.
Hey,
It's
look,
a whole. It's like
no, I can't.
it's been pushed. It's being pushed. I know you don't want to believe it, but it's being pushed. Especially these big cities, it's being pushed. I don't like it. I'm with you. I don't like it because I am a conservative type of dude. Meanwhile, like I said, we like I said, we're family. We like to be conservative.
urban
But
Nords,
this
urban
character,
Nords,
but it's just like left to right, left to right. Especially if you click on Instagram, you will see some ratchet. If you following Baller Alert, if you following the Shade Room, if you follow Hollywood Unlocked, you gonna find some ratchet.
But
Am I lying?
I disagree because I know some nerds over here. They can't handle no ghetto diamonds. They stay straight away from them. So that's
exactly.
why.
You see, we getting confused by the attitude. It's the image of a ratchet. That's what I'm saying. Like the
Oh,
hair.
you talking about the image?
That's what I'm talking about. The imagery of the ratchet. They don't have to always deal with the attitude, the image of that. They can say
Exactly.
ratchet is her being more sexualized than a woman like Keisha M. That's what I'm saying. Like they not being pushed. Now if they being pushed on the forefront, women like her will be more married on a higher scale. But it's not.
No. She could have been married. I think she just maybe she's just a bit picky. You don't think? Am I wrong, Keisha?
I mean, no, the selection's bad. No, the selection's bad. No.
In LA?
No.
In LA?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
I agree with her. I live here too. She's right. It's kind of bad out here.
You see,
they got ballers there. Niggas.
But the thing is, it's like like I said, she lived in Glendale. I live in downtown. They live in in somewhere in the valley or somewhere in like Santa Monica, like it towards the west of from us. Those are where the powerful man lives at. Like Glendale or here in the downtown area, it's not like that. So it's just different here.
Yeah, DB's right. We got to stretch the definition of ratchet for sure.
Yeah, we definitely do. But I want to expound on that. You ain't never dated a socially awkward guy?
Yes, I have.
And he wanted a ratchet?
Yes.
No.
I mean, I'm not gonna say in the relationship, but I mean, he was attracted to certain type of women. Like, yes.
The image. Remember how came the image of the ratchet, not the attitude.
It's hard to believe me. I don't want no ghetto diamonds. I need the bleach stained dress.
And the thing is, Hakeem, I'm sorry, Keisha. The thing it's worse in our men that are younger, especially our 20s. Majority of, like you said, majority of men in their 20s, they want to date or have sex with a ratchet woman.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah. I agree with you on that, but I'm just saying, and maybe you see, dating is different everywhere, and I just say the few guys who I've been around, privileged to been around, and you know what I mean, they can't handle ratchet women. So I do want to expound and hear where a woman come from to say that you haven't met nobody that has that wants what street guys want. That's a little bit confusing to me.
Okay, well, I can't say it's all men, but I will say that I think men tend to gravitate towards women that they can easily have sexual relations with. And they tend to meet a certain prototype, and those men will give those women more attention than conservative women. You know, conservative women are considered like difficult and things like that.
No.
Fine.
Yeah, but, y'all the end goal. Y'all the end goal.
Well, I don't want to be the end goal. I'm not. No,
but let me ask you.
Switch. Hey, I can't switch it up in a positive way. You don't like how he's
okay. When the man hit 50, then we're looking for women like Keisha M. Like, okay, yeah, but if a man is in his 30s or in his 30s and also his early 40s, he's looking for the ratchet. I'm just.
No. Let's expound on what Keisha said, because maybe that's not ratchet. I think that just may be a male instinct. A lot of men want to smash.
Yeah.
A lot of men want to smash, and a woman who's dating with a purpose is going to prioritize relationship than having sex. But we all know. But here's the thing, though. Powerful men are going to want to tap that within the first 2 weeks or so.
Yep, or probably the same day.
You know what I mean? This is a question I want to ask you. This is why I say this is something that I know is, I don't have the statistic on it, but I know this is a fact. Most men who are smashing a lot of women, who are able to give them attention, they playing around. They're not marrying them. That's what we talking about. They're not playing Lord of the Rings. Yes, most men are going to devote his time to getting his numbers up and quenching his thirst. But when it's time to get married, he's going to want to settle down with a conservative woman that he can build a family with. You know what I mean? He know he might have to wait 6 months to a year, put a down payment on a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Couple trips, something like that. You know what I mean? But he know maybe after the 4th trip, you might give him some and y'all locked in. You know what I'm trying to say? But I do understand where you come from on that. But I do think that that's kind of like a gray area there.
I agree.
It's a gray area because sometimes a woman would compromise her morals if they see a man as an investment.
You mean like conservative women, or
Yeah, like conservative. Let's say you meet somebody, has his own house, who's well into his career, fit. He doesn't have the problem, has done therapy, but he wants to smash. Do you think most people would go against their fundamental ideology and say, I might need to give him some of this so I could put that's a down payment?
Yeah, I think that's become a thing in dating. Yeah, especially with the way that social media, YouTube, red pills gone. A lot of these guys won't even ask you for on the 2nd or 3rd date unless you giving it up. So that's real. Yeah.
But only men with money can do that. Broke boys they're not asking for that.
No, broke people are asking for it too.
No, but they're not getting it though.
I think
not from no woman who has her stuff together. This is the big. A lot of people get at me like that. I say that a man with power can demand that and walk away, and a woman to feel some kind of way. But if you're working at Jeffrey Lube and you're trying to holler, you took out on 2 dates and you're demanding, she's gonna look at you crazy.
I disagree. If the man have a good, strong talk game, Hakeem, like, come on now.
Not no woman. Go ahead. Not no woman who went to Spelman though.
No, it happened. Remember what happened to that woman?
It can happen, Hakeem. Oh, man, if you got great.
That woman in Atlanta, she was an attorney. She was dating a guy that was 3 or 4, and the guy ended up murdering her. Deleting her. A couple of days later, it happens.
We did that story. That was an anomaly. I'm talking about. Let's talk about from an overall perspective. Yes, women will. You see, I don't even want to say this because.
Now go on your bag. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Speak your mind.
I don't want to say this, okay? Because you want to know why? Because when I hear it, I feel like hurt when I say this for men. Some women would date down. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
To entertain certain people. That doesn't mean she looks at you as marriage materials. Women do play games as well as men play games with peppers and women they don't find attractive because they know it's easier to bed you. But it's easier to bed you. But when we talking about playing Lord of the Rings, the end goal, the end game, a man is going to position himself in a way to see that, okay, she checked all his boxes. And sometimes he'll play around in the background, but ain't gonna mess you up until you get ready to cave in, and he'll start deleting numbers and start deleting the apps. Okay, she already let me tap that ass. I'm gonna just let everybody go now. Because in the back of your mind, you saying to yourself, if you're a woman with stature, you're a woman of status, you're a woman of this. He said marriage equates to sex for Hakeem. No.
Oh, I love Sugar Boy.
Sugar.
But what the F? Just say anything. But no, I like that because you know what? It's true. Sometimes us as men, we really don't know what we're talking about. Like in the aspect. Like I would say, sometimes I don't agree with Sugar all the time, but when she hit a point, she hit a point. Because we just talking whatever. But the fact is, I think, to be honest with you, I think younger women should date older men, because if they want to have that establishment, go older.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I tell women all the time, say, hey, if you're looking for marriage, date a man that's already 40 and 50. He gonna marry you off the real. He probably gonna marry you in the y'all been dating for like 8 months. He gonna marry you by the 9th month y'all married.
Basically,
Or
or the
even less
third
than
one.
that, or less, exactly
Go
less than that.
do it.
Or the third one. But here's the thing: women want the fun, attractive guy that's in her age group. These guys want to still hang the block. And here's the thing: if he's in your age group and he's professional, he's doing the damn thing. He has a plethora of women he can get with no problem. This is why I like what you said, Keisha, earlier, where you spoke about the American culture, about people getting together, working and building something. And I think a lot of women are realizing that you can go get somebody who wants 6 figures, but 9 out of 10 times he just want to smash. You know what I mean? Compared to somebody you can be building with who's semi in the level. Y'all both got degrees. Y'all both in your own place, and it's not like y'all in competition. You'd be like, okay, I can work with him, so he's not going to financially abuse me or feel like I have to obey something due to the fact that he's in a better position than me.
Yeah. And another thing I wanted to mention as well is that, like, I guess when I was at that age, I really didn't want someone who was close to my father's age. It was just weird to me. I wasn't even attracted to those men. So that gets sticky too, especially with the American culture, because you are going to have to like teach those women that you may not necessarily be attracted to them physically, sexually. It's just you're going to have that conversation. But when I was dating at that age, it was like, they have to be attractive. I have to be attracted to them.
Oh yeah, definitely. But as you get older, what you want at 17 is different at 35. What you want at 20 is different at this, especially if you went through some bad dating experiences, your whole outlook changes. Or if you're a woman who have kids and you really just want a husband and you really want something committed, or you really want something stable, you have to look at it from a different perspective and packaging it. And mind you, we have to have those tough conversations, because here's the thing. Red Pill did open up an idea of conversations that people do not want to have, especially when we start talking about what do men of means want, what do the consensus of men want, what do women want. Okay, somebody who's making 6 figures, who's a cybersecurity analyst, he might want to date somebody that's 150 pounds. Who works out, he might not want to date somebody who's 220 with 3 kids. That doesn't mean you're excluded from the dating market. That doesn't mean you're just not his type. And the packaging has to be different compared to a 40-year-old or 50-year-old man who wants a good woman who cooks and clean, who's not going to be more so on looks. You at 35 with kids tend to disregard looks for stability. And I'm not speaking for all women. I know there's some women who said, okay, I'm not going to date this skinny dude with big feet, but I'm going to do it at 35.
Yeah,
I'm not going to date Mr. Johnson with the belly hanging at 25, but I'll do it at 40. I got 3 kids in here I need to raise. And he's getting at me, and he's the most consistent.
Sherry Bryan say, broken man will marry a ratchet.
Ooh.
Now, that's not always true. That's not always true. A man like what he likes. And not only that, but sometimes a ratchet chick sometimes have what that man needs, compared to a woman that ain't ratchet. But
look,
it is what it is. What happened?
Look what DB said. When I was 22 years old, fresh out of college, I dated a man that was 38. My dad was like, nah.
Really? Most men say that. They were like, cool.
But, you see, but let's expound, DB. What did your dad have a problem with? Was he a street guy?
Yeah, my dad is the same way. It's the age gap. Like, what you mean? Like, yeah, he wanted me to find someone my age.
Yeah.
And that's most Americans. Like, white Americans too. I see they get together and they're the same age. They meet in college. Like, it's it's usually not a huge age gap thing because, like I said, a lot of countries, a lot of other cultures, it's a poverty thing. It's, I need someone to take care of me. In America and the American culture is a little bit different. And so our way and of how we have relationships and how we date is evolved because we don't, I mean, poverty's still a thing, but it's just not as prevalent as it is with other cultures. And that's the problem that I kind of have with Red Pill is we're bringing the cultures that are kind of written in poverty and how they do things, and we're just pulling it into culture when things are a little bit different. You know what I mean? I have friends where they got married with a guy and her dad paid for their house. You know what I mean? Like her dad paid for their wedding. It's not like it's all on the man sometimes. And so I just think that the way we do relationships has evolved and we're pushing it back.
Yeah. You said
I would say that's true. I would say that's true because other countries, for here in America, if we have a power line, there's benefits that we can get compared to other countries that don't have a benefit whatsoever. I'm talking about like Section 8 or EBT, because you go to other countries, if you get fired, you can talk about employment. Other countries can't do that. Or if you get some amount of income, you can apply for food stamps. Other countries can't do that. So that's the difference right there with Keisha was talking about.
No, Gordon said we need to get rid of the cooking and cleaning talking point. The only reason why the cooking and cleaning talking point, like Keisha pretty much said, them guys are getting it from a culturally standpoint. Like they're getting it from like the Caribbeans and other ethnicities to talk about cooking and cleaning, because most of the women are cooking and cleaning, even though they still work. American have the idea of if I'm working, I don't need to cook and clean. I think that's wrong. I think there's a lot of strong disconnect in that aspect.
And that's like a problem we have in America is that we are known for just accepting immigrants and stuff. And a lot of immigrants don't adapt to the American culture. They bring their culture. But if we were to go to their country, we would have to adapt to their culture. And I don't think that's fair at all. But that's what I see a lot. And it's frustrating.
But it goes to point, and you're 100% right, but it also goes to the point of there's no hierarchy in the Black American culture here. It's a blessing and a curse. Y'all let everybody in and want to love everybody, but then there's rules and guidelines that are being set. You know what I mean? When we got to say, and I agree with you, if we come in here, we got to accept the culture of what they're said here. But some people are so adamant about the way they live and the way they want to. And here's the thing. A Black American man is going to have a problem dealing with somebody from Ghana if she's dating him here and she was raised here. Regardless, she's raised American. Her daddy say, "Where's the dowry at? He ain't put up no bread." You could be from Nigeria. They expect for you. It's certain expectations. She could be born and raised here. And this is why they revert back to that. And it's a difficult situation to balance that. You can't tell somebody, it's hard to tell somebody to go against all they knew their whole life. You know what I mean? Or then what are the other options we have for our woman here who wants to get married? Who are in a unique situation here in America, and they're saying that, okay, I want John, but and Natasha, Sherry Bryant said this: most men look for attractive women and not ratchet. That's a fundamental thing for all men. You know what I mean? But that means what do certain men can afford to get? Your status affords you to get a lot.
Big facts. That is big facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Big facts. Yeah. I hit some hitters. Well, you already know we reached that hour mark. You guys, final thoughts. Keisha, I have you close the show as well, so guys can find you where to find you, because a lot of guys say, "Man, that's Keisha." I know, right? I'm shocked. You know,
you a celebrity over here, Keisha.
I doubt it. I doubt
you a celebrity.
I doubt it. They all just go off on me in the chat.
All I see was KM and all through the chat the whole time. KM.
Hey, but that's good. You know why she came though? Because we come from a space. They've been trying to see how she looks. Now look. You see, never know who is in the gym. I'm trying to get sugar.
It's always cam up, but yeah.
I'm trying to
Look,
get sugar.
Thanks, CB.
she said,
Yeah, but guys, any final thoughts? And then Keisha will close out the show like she's the guest of honor. So, any final thoughts? I came enjoyed it. Oh, y'all good?
I'll go. I'll go. When it comes to HTAP getting, especially in our community, I think we need to talk about a little bit more instead of and really talk about it's not just about the the looks and everything. This just really look at, like I said, how can I say this? Just really look at more just the attraction look. Just look at the age. Like I said, if I had kids, if I had like a boy or girl, I'll definitely explain like when they get older and everything. It's like say don't mind age gap dating. Somebody's younger than you or older than you. If you can find somebody the right one that's older or younger, it's totally fine. That's what I'm gonna tell you.
and I'm gonna say there's something real controversial. If I had kids, I want to be involved in the dating aspect of my daughter. You know what I mean? I want to vet the guy. I want to go on dates with y'all. You know what I'm saying? But as far as when it comes to age, you know what I mean? And I'm gonna be honest with you here. And I grew up Caribbean, and I was I was Muslim for a while. So I might not have a problem with my daughter dating somebody 35 who's of good character, he's vetted, and he's willing to provide a good lifestyle for her. And if you could take care of my daughter better better I could take care of her, I'm gonna sign off on it.
And as for me, I think we have to change culturally. I think we have to teach our kids at a younger age. So when they hit 18, 19, before they head out to college, teach them like, hey, you got to prepare yourself for marriage. Marry young, and then build together, build a legacy while you in college. Some coaches do that as well. They teach their children while they're in college to make sure to go find a wife, go find a husband, because that's the only way the age gap will have pretty much some differences there. And as always, of course, Keisha, you in the show, and tell the guys, of course, your final thoughts. Where can they find you? What you got going on? And we will end the show. Go ahead.
Yeah, so my final thoughts are I understand the age gap, especially for reproductive reasons. But I do think that we have certain scenarios, especially in the American culture, that maybe that's obsolete. We have a lot of men who already have children with another woman, who are divorced, who maybe don't want kids anymore, who have a vasectomy. So there's a lot of factors that go into it that make me think that maybe we like the whole dating for reproduction and having someone take care of you, and the reason for that age cap is kind of obsolete for us, but maybe that works for other cultures. But I do agree. I think the way that we date needs to change, especially in the Black community. I think a lot of us, especially for me, we were just told to stay away from boys, stay away from boys, stay away from boys. And when it came down to dating, we just kind of was in unknown territory, and we just had to sit back and kind of observe and see how y'all move. And then when y'all start, chasing, 304s and stuff like that, we kind of had to adapt. That's kind of what the story I know for a lot of women. But yeah, as far as me, I don't have anything going on. I'm in the chat. So you can find me on IG, Keisha M. Michelle. But that's it.
Thank you, Keisha, for coming on the show, man. We love your beautiful presence, man.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. Thanks for inviting me.
You got me sweating. I'm like, I never sweat. Normally, you got me.
I'm asking you. You're a good debater. You was raised sharp, though. We'll give you that.
I like to debate. I don't like the ratchetness, but I do like to just bounce ideas off each other and understand how other people think. I like understanding other perspectives.
Keisha, I want to say they're giving you a shout out on Instagram. DNA 143. She said you go girl. And a lot of people giving you shout out on Instagram.
Okay, Keisha,
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Just make sure when you go on top, don't forget about KI Culture Radio. You know what I'm saying?
I doubt it.
Hey guys, that's why it's very important to like, share, and subscribe, and make sure you hit that notification bell on the right hand side. Remember, we do go live each and every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 o'clock Eastern time. Shout out to DB, shout out to Ken Dawes, shout out to Natasha Vincent, shout out to Gore, shout out to Christopher J. Christopher J, I'm gonna hit you up on Instagram because I want to have you on the show. Shout out to Sherry Bryan. Shout out to Urban Noise, Fresh Sound, Florida. Shout out to There was so many people in the chat, man. Shout out
Yeah.
to Sugar Bomb. Sugar Bomb actually behaved today. I'm
Yeah,
shocked.
yeah.
Hey, motivated
Right,
bitch.
Sugar Bomb?
Hey,
She actually
she slightly attacked me. Not too much. She slightly attacked me. I still love you, Sugar. She's my thumbnail. I still love you, girl.
Shout out to Berry White. I haven't seen her in a long time. I hope she's doing well. I gotta hit her up, make sure she's doing well. Berry White. Shout out to you guys that's watching us also on Instagram, Facebook,
Yep.
Twitch. Our Twitch subscribers has been going up. Congrats for the Chaos Culture Radio family. Our Twitch has been going up, so people are subscribing over there on Twitch. We keep putting on the hard work, putting on the good content, guys. Please make sure to go to Chaos Culture Radio community tab. In the community tab, there's the Chaos Culture Radio T-shirt where me and Jordan got on. And also breaking news, we got the Chaos Culture Radio hats and also coffee mug. Empress Hakeem new book, Black Love. Come over here, support the platform. We on our way to 1K subscribers. With your guys' help, we will meet that goal. Oh, and shout out to Vibe with Big Heavy Podcast. That dude is everywhere. Everywhere I go, he's everywhere. I promise you. He's everywhere. I got to give him a shout out. Shout out to that guy. Man, we had a really good time. Thank you so much, Keisha, for being on the show. You're beautiful. You're lovely. Thank you for having you here. Thank you guys for tuning in to Chaos Culture Radio. We over and out.